From Ibadan to Hell Yard, a book that celebrates emancipation and the history of steel pan. Joining us in studio this morning is author Stuart Ramon Fortuné to talk about this incredible piece and what inspired it. Good morning, Stuart, and welcome.
Good morning to everyone looking on. Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you with us on the show this morning, and really to find out a little bit about this book. We had the chance to chat just briefly off air about some of the backstory, but it's time to share that with Trinidad and Tobago as well. So let's talk about first what inspired you to write.
Okay, well, this is the first time I've ever attempted something of this sort, but it was during the COVID pandemic, sorry.
Epidemics.
Pandemic. Some people might call it different things, but it was during the time of the pandemic, and everyone was home basically looking at Netflix, you know, just relaxing.
Yes.
I was looking at Vikings, Barbarians, which covered the German history. There's another one, the Samurais, which covered the Japanese history. So I wondered to myself, what would Trinidad's history look like? I mean, we know the history text, but in terms of that myth-building tale, what would ours look like?
Right.
So that's why I started to do research, aside from what we would find in our normal Caribbean history books, and so looking at interviews with people who would have been part of the whole history coming down. And that's what inspired me to actually write it.
Quite interesting. Now, let's talk about the book itself, because it's quite a powerful title, From Ibadan to Hell Yard. What inspired the title?
Well, the story itself basically follows the journey from Ibadan, which would have been a part of Africa, pre-Nigeria, pre the drawing up of the lines and so. And people would have come across, not voluntarily, but they've ended up in this region through the slave trade and so. And then they would have come from the slavery to the emancipation, to the steel pan, to the independence of Trinidad. So the journey would have started in Ibadan. And, well, through my story, through the tale that I am telling, it would have really... Ibadan would have been reborn in like Hell Yard, which is in Dry River, you know, and that whole steel pan movement, the yard movement in Trinidad, trying to recreate the essence of what the ancient memories, then try to recreate that in Trinidad after the emancipation, when we finally had our freedoms back to practice certain things. So, yeah, in a nutshell, it's all of that and more.
I can see the exhilaration on your face, and I can feel the energy about, you know, excitement, as well as, I have to say, a bit of awe I feel coming from you this morning. And I'm assuming that that's tied into the themes and how they're important they are to you. So can you share with us why they're so important to you? Well,
some of the themes I cover is, again, we'll go back to what I just said, identity, resilience, because if you place yourself in the minds of these recently emancipated slaves, you're not getting emancipation, you're out there partying, having a good time, Campbell card on, you're just out there, the drums beating, and then the former slave masters will be like, how am I getting these people back onto the plantation, because production is gone.
Yeah.
So those are the themes. How do you reconcile, I guess, trying to earn a living and still maintain your culture?
Right.
That's one of the main things I try to cover inside of them.
Interesting. Now, as a first-time author, I mean, this book has incredible depth, and I'm sure that there would have been challenges along the way. Were there challenges in the creative and the publishing process for you?
There were a lot of challenges. Again, this is the first time I've tried this. So my editor, Zara Gordon, good morning, she would, if you were to ask her, she would say the writing style I have. Normally I do business reports, proposals, business planning, so I write a certain way.
Right.
So her thing was, you have to be literary, Stuart, literary. Don't, all these words, subsequently cross that word out, you know. Certain words I would use in my normal writing style won't apply in this format. So that was one. Another thing is just, I'll have to thank my friend Paul Price, who told me just start, because you have the idea in your mind, should I do it? Would this make sense? I never did this before. Would it come out good or not? And he just told me, just start writing. Everything will come after that, just start. So those are some of the challenges, to start, and then I like to, when I start something, I like to get it finished with pace. But this isn't like that. You have to actually take breaks, look at some TV, relax for a couple of months, and then jump back into it. So those are some of the challenges I experienced.
It sounds like quite an emotional experience as well. When you speak about taking breaks in particular, would you say that there were times when you did sit back and say, you know what, I definitely need to take a bit of an extended break from working on this and come back to it?
Yeah, and that is very helpful as well, because sometimes during the break, things just come to you to add to the book. So you might be watching a documentary and you get some ideas from there. You might be reading a book, something might happen in the world which might trigger a thought. So just relax sometimes, let the universe do its universe thing, and continue. But you need to take a break because the writer's block is real, and you need to refresh your own mind. A lot of the times you may be reading a line and the mistake is right in front of you, but because you're reading that line over and over and someone else hasn't put the eyes on it, because you haven't rested and refreshed your mind and come back to it, you're not seeing the mistakes, you know, so the rest is very important. It's very, very
Definitely is important. And again, it's beautiful to actually see the joy in your face as you speak about this. You can tell that you highly enjoyed this creative process. Now, what do you hope that people get out of your book?
Well, I just hope people will be able to, okay, let's put it this way. Don't know if I should say it this way, but if you take a tourist and you put them in the Hyatt and you ask them to go to Movie Town, and one is picked up by a taxi and carried to Movie Town, and another one is grabbed in Hyatt, blindfolded, taken through Port of Spain, through Savannah, through St. James, through Woodbrook, and then dropped off at Movie Town, and then unblindfolded. And you ask both of them, get back to Hyatt. The person who just took the drive from Hyatt to Movie Town, it'll be easier for them to find their way back because they knew where they came from.
Right.
The person who was blindfolded, who was taken through this long journey and just dumped there, they will be totally lost. So those are some of the things I want people to grasp from the book.
And beautiful. Now, share with us, do you have any plans for more books?
Yes, I do actually. I have an idea. Well, I have an idea for a story. It hasn't been converted into a book as yet. So I have an idea which will be more focused on Tobago.
Okay.
And it's a whole different story. It's more of a love story.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, Tobago is beautiful. Right. Definitely one of the most romantic places in the world. So we look forward to that. Now, do you have advice for other aspiring authors? Because it's quite fascinating to hear where you started, you know, business and so forth, consultancy, and now going into writing. So what advice would you have for those who are aspiring and, to be honest, maybe a bit hesitant in making that transition?
Well, the same thing my friend Paul told me, just start. Another thing is, don't worry too much about the words, just get the story. The editor will help you with the words. I mean, you will build out drafts as you go along. Just get the story, whether it just be in bullet points, this happens, then this happens, and this happens, and this happens. Learn a little bit about story structure, you know, the three parts, the three acts structure. Just educate as much as yourself as much as you could about storytelling, and just start. Just start.
Agreed. Just start. I think it's something that resonates with all of us throughout the world, and regardless of what profession you are in. So this book, From Ibadan to Helyard, when is it going to be launched?
I'm launching it on the 20th of August. So it'll be available through Amazon for the ebooks, and also print on demand through the Amazon. So 20th of August on my birthday, I'm going to launch it.
Wonderful. And any plans to have it in bookstores in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, I'm going to have some physical copies down here as well, which will be sold through my app.
Your app?
Yes, I have
an
app.
What's your app?
It's called On The Go TT. It's a virtual shopping mall, so you could buy gaming in there, you could buy devices in there right now. So it's one app for multiple stores.
Wonderful. Well, you definitely have a lot to offer, and looking forward to not just reading From Ibadan to Helyard, but also seeing what creation story you have for Tobago as well. Do you have a drop date for your next book?
That is the story building still. This one took 2 years. That following story might take another 2 years or so.
And it's interesting you said that it took 2 years and it happened during COVID-19 as well. Do you think it's possible the process may possibly be a little bit longer given the fact that we are back outside, as we like to say?
Who is we?
Interesting.
I am a consultant. I do a lot of work from home on the computer. I have a lot of flexible time. It really is about having the discipline and the desire, the self-motivation to complete your projects.
Okay, that's so true. Well, thank you so much, Stuart, for being with us this morning. Looking forward to many more books coming from you. And we look forward to reading From Ibadan to Helyard, Trinidad and Tobago and the World. That was Stuart R. Ramon Fortuné, an author with a fantastic piece of work being released on the 20th of August that you do not want to miss.